Bienvenidos, worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime En Fuego here, and I welcome you to my namesake program, Enfuegotainment, damn easy. And this is something I like to do on Thursdays, and it is none other than a Retro Fuego review. And this is essentially me either revisiting a film that I haven't seen in a long ass time, or one that I have never checked out to begin with. Now, July 2nd was the 40th anniversary of this crazy movie, Airplane, and this is the DVD 25th anniversary edition that I have, which is the Don't Call Me Shirley edition. But I had seen this a long time ago. Around the same time I was checking out a lot of other stuff from the Zucker Brothers, which included like Kentucky Fried Movie and Police Squad and the Naked Gun stuff, and obviously Hot Shots. Both of those are great, and they went on to take over the Scary Movie franchise after the Wayans left. But I must admit, aside from a few bits here and there, I did not particularly remember this movie too insanely well. So, especially with the anniversary going down, it was a ripe instance to go and check this out. And so, this was initially like just touted as a parody of, I think, Airport was what they were called. So in the late 70s, there was that big disaster movie trend with Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno, Airport, stuff like that. And this was really just a full-on spoof of all of those. They had done Kentucky Fried Movie, being the Zucker Brothers, a few years before this, but this one had more stars, bigger budget, and allowed a lot of dramatic actors the opportunity to just like stretch their wings, man, and do something completely different. And I absolutely love this movie, and it parodies so many other things. I mean, you've got a Saturday Night Fever parody at one particular point where there's some reminiscing. I mean, you've got, I forget the name of the film, but that classic scene where they're just rolling around on the beach, the guy and the lady, and I think that was a non-lady-liking guy, at least as far as the acting goes. But nonetheless, this just spoofs so many iconic things, and yet also brings in a lot of stuff that was contemporary to that day. I mean, you've got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in there, for God's sake, as the co-pilot, and this young kid recognizes him and talks smack about him not playing defense. It's so insanely amusing, but yet iconic bit after iconic bit, whether it's this just frail PTSD guy who is our main character, who inevitably ends up having to try to land this plane after most of the peeps on the flight get food poisoning. And he's got an extensive history of romantic entanglements with one of the stewardesses, but you've got so many other trope after trope after tropes, whether it's the older woman who knows how to speak jive. Those scenes are absolutely hilarious. Also, the insanely inappropriate little bits here and there about like the main pilot, for instance, when the kid is touring the cockpit and he's like, "You ever seen a grown man naked?" This is a PG movie, and yet, yes, the PG-13 rating had not been created at this particular point, but this is a movie. You even see a quite nice pair of boobs at one particular point, rather briefly, obviously, but this was in that weird sweet spot of the late 70s, early 80s, before that aforementioned PG-13 rating was created, where unless you were showing really gratuitous violence, like something like explicit sex, or F-bombs galore, you could usually get a PG rating, just parental guidance. And unless you had that other stuff, that's when you would veer into the R and the NC-17 territory. But yeah, man, this movie is from our main character driving the cab at the beginning and just notching the meter and leaving the meter running when he's got this older customer in the back who is there for like the predominance of the movie. The woman singing, the other stewardess singing the folk song and knocking the breathing tubes out of the girl who's going to get the heart transplant. I mean, this movie is so redonkulously over the top in every possible capacity. I love this sort of spoof filmmaking, and it's really become a dying breed in a lot of ways, which breaks my heart because, as I already mentioned, Hot Shots and the Naked Gun / Police Squad stuff. Then this between Lloyd Bridges and Leslie Nielsen, and just the goofiness of their roles in this amongst various others, and a Zucker one that I especially adore, not this movie, besides this movie I should say, because of the fact that it was them pairing up with Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Basketball is another one that was like so ahead of its time as far as its silliness. This movie has at least this particular edition also has an extended version. It's called the long haul version, and it adds deleted scenes and interviews and stuff like that. So that is the one that I'm gonna sit down and probably rewatch tonight. But man, there are just, it's really another one of those spoof movies where you probably have to watch it a few times, which is why I want to check it out again, at least in the coming days, because it's like jokes a minute, man. It seriously is. And that's often the case with a lot of these parody movies, a recent personal favorite being Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping. And I found the same thing with that as I have with most of the Zucker stuff. Even something like Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood, which was the Wayans family predating even doing the Scary Movie horror parody stuff. But yeah, a lot of these films, you have to revisit them because there's so much when it's, you know, just so many jokes in every scene, between dialogue, between stuff going on in the background. I mean, this movie is utterly hilarious, a personal favorite. Pretty much anything the Zuckers do, it's this, just getting reacquainted with it, it has risen insanely in the ranks. And I was watching it with Catherine, and she was just like, this movie is insane. And I'm like, yeah, most spoof stuff that goes to this level of satire is usually of that ilk. And yes, there is some dated humor, obviously, but there is so much else that is just beyond hilarious, like dying laughing hilarious, and it's a trend that the Zuckers would continue for many years to come. I am most definitely going to give Airplane 4 out of 5 Fuego Fireballs. This is a certified Fuego film, and yes, in 1980, when this came out on July 2nd, there was a number of other movies that summer who people were like, yeah, that's the comedy to keep an eye on. That's the comedy to keep an eye on. And I mean, yeah, some people loved Smokey and the Bandit, whatever. I feel like this is one that, while yes, some of the dated stuff, as I mentioned, I feel like there was humor way ahead of its time, and it has lasted the test for that sheer reason, because of the fact that this sort of just inane, amazing silliness is the type of comedy that I always have enjoyed since I was a little kid. So, I've been Jaime En Fuego. Y'all can find moi on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, just like you see spelled below. Have you checked out Airplane? You most definitely do. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere, but I would imagine that it is a very just small, VOD, toss in the coin jar sort of situation. Here on my channel, I primarily cover comedy of this nature, obviously, and then everything from there, from geek-tastic stuff like Star Wars all the way to indie art house dramas of the smallest variety. So yeah, you have a nice bit of that here. If you like spectacular stuff, jump on over to youtube.com/The Horror Show channel. That's where I do everything scarific, along with Cecil Laird, the showrunner over there, and my co-producer, with the assistance of Robert Duell, Marsha Parker, and Susie von Slotcher when we can get them out. And everybody's very busy. But yes, trailer reactions, film reviews, along with my weekly Stephen King show, unboxings, video game Let's Plays. But please, a like, share, and a subscribe here on my smaller personal channel means a hell of a lot. What is your favorite line or scene from Airplane? Leave it in the comments below. And until the Reel of Caw comes around once more, hasta luego, Cinemigos, constant readers and viewers alike, say thank you for having this film palaver with me. Hope we get to do it again sooner rather than later. And until that instance occurs, remember, stay scared, stay home, watch more movies. I said stay scared. I'm in horror show mode. That's okay though. But yes, and don't call me Shirley.